Shalom. Kal Halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Akwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who do rule well. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and freedom to do so, now so more so than ever. And to the would-be judges and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations, the speckled bird, the seed line of Israel, and to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Ariel Judah. Right now we're going to talk about the U.S. military and its commander-in-chief. And we're going to start with Isaiah 19:4, spiritual Sodom and Egypt, America. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, the Lord of the heavenly armies. Fair use, fair use.
The USS Abraham Lincoln was supposed to be on a routine deployment. Instead, sailors aboard the aircraft carrier are reportedly facing months of exhaustion, shortages, deteriorating conditions, and a growing mental health crisis as the ship remains deployed in support of U.S. operations against Iran. The Lincoln left San Diego on November 21, 2025, for what was expected to be a roughly 7-month Pacific deployment. But as the conflict with Iran escalated, the carrier was redirected to the Middle East. By August 2026, the Lincoln was reportedly in its 9th month of deployment, with more than 250 consecutive days at sea and only limited opportunities for sailors to go ashore. Now, messages reportedly sent by sailors and accounts from their families are revealing just how difficult life aboard the carrier has become. One sailor reportedly described going 3 months without milk. Another account said fresh food was increasingly difficult to get, with frozen and shelf-stable supplies dominating the ship's meals. There were also reports of rotten food arriving at sea and extremely small portions. One reported meal consisted of just half a cup of rice and 2 tortillas.
Look like they're getting fed better in jail or prison or whatever. But this carrier group was out there with another carrier group, and word is that they sabotaged that one, so they had to take it on up out of there. And then after that, this one got stuck, and we all know who they're over there for, and to make sure that the U.S. dollar does not crash, because they want to stop what's going on over there with BRICS and all the people who have financials backed by gold versus the U.S. dollar that's backed by belief.
Families have also described hour-long lines at the ship's store and shortages of basic items, including soap, toothpaste, and deodorant. And food is only part of the problem. Families reportedly say sailors have endured long stretches without hot water. Laundry facilities have allegedly been out of service for weeks. Moldy showers and broken toilets have also been among the complaints. At the same time, sailors are reportedly working grueling shifts with little meaningful time off. For a crew already operating under the pressure of a prolonged combat deployment, families say the conditions are taking a serious toll. The most disturbing reports involve mental health. Military-focused outlets have reported multiple incidents in which sailors allegedly attempted or were stopped from attempting to go overboard. In one case, a sailor reportedly intervened after seeing a shipmate preparing to go over the side. Another sailor...
No ports of call. Normally, these type of ships will go out for a while, and I think they say about every 4 to 6 weeks, probably letting some months pass in between. Also, they would stop in to get a little R&R to be able to get off the ship. But in wartime, things change. And the trumpeter doesn't really care about the American people or the people under his command being commander-in-chief. So, therefore, they have to deal with that cruel lord, you know, that vicious king that's going to do what he wants to do. And most people in the military know that when they get in the military, they're to follow orders. So it's been said, and it'll be said once again, I wouldn't recommend joining the military, especially if you're an Israelite. If you're an Edomite, join the military, fight for your shit, because this yours, right? You know what I mean?
His wife said her husband is now on medical hold after an alleged attempt and fears that burnout could end his 13-year career. Other family members have described sailors expressing suicidal thoughts and saying they simply want relief from the relentless pressure. Those allegations prompted families to confront senior Navy officials during town hall.
And this right here, they are already in World War III. And it's going to get way more devastating, way more treacherous, because the Lord is drawing all of them into that region because of judgment, because Yahweh Shai is about to come back, and all hell needs to be broken loose. And this is putting us that much closer to the kingdom. And we as Israelites, we know that Yahweh Shai is our power. It's who we worship. So it won't be no taking of the MOTB. He said, until death for that crown. You know what I'm saying? So we already got our marching orders. No compromise. Know who you worship. Know who your power is and move accordingly.
Meetings. Navy leadership has acknowledged the strain of the extended deployment and says counselors, chaplains, and medical professionals are available to the crew. But the Navy disputes claims of systemic shortages and says the ship continues to have access to adequate food, clean water, air conditioning, and essential supplies.
Russia has already warned America. I ain't got no dog in this fight. Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Raka'ah Quadash is what it is from over here. But like I was saying, Russia said, don't put no boots on the ground in Iran, because if you do, we're going to slaughter them. That's a threat. So the cruel king, what you think he going to do? You going to slaughter what? I'm finna send my troops over there and we going to get down. That's what he's saying. So, December's supposed to start the draft, what do you call it? Registration or whatever. So they setting up the draft registration so that they can get ready to make you go over there, since you don't want to volunteer, because this land, this America thing, this experiment prospered off slavery. So you best believe the armed forces, they see you as expendable and they want you to do what the fuck they tell you to do. You've been warned.
Officials have also attributed some logistical problems to the challenges of sustaining a carrier operating for months in a contested environment. The controversy is unfolding as the Lincoln continues supporting U.S. military operations against Iran, and the costs of that conflict extend far beyond one aircraft carrier. Critics point to rising military expenditures, pressure on missile interceptor inventories and the deaths of U.S. service members. Some economic analyses have also estimated that the conflict could translate into roughly $1,000 in additional costs for an average American household, although such estimates vary depending on the methodology and time frame. For the sailors aboard the Abraham Lincoln, however, the immediate cost is much more personal. Months away from home, long workdays, limited rest, supply problems, and growing fears about mental health. The Navy says the crew remains resilient and mission ready, but the families raising these concerns are asking a much harder question. How long can a crew be pushed before the mission itself becomes a threat to the people carrying it out? The Lincoln remains at sea, and for thousands of sailors and their families, the wait for relief continues.
So, we got World War III on the horizon. And we got sailors abandoning their posts. They trying to jump overboard, off the ship. Because a lot of them, I know, I was in the Navy at one point in time for a short period of time, early 90s. You go up in that mud to get you a check. You from somewhere where it ain't too many jobs. They come through recruiting. They lie to you and sweet talk you enough to get you to go, give you a little bit of extra money. And then when you recognize what's going on when you get there, you stuck. Got a cruel king, President Donald Trump. As your boy say, your president. I never voted in my life. Always been behind enemy lines since day one. Call halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Akwadash. Shalom.